In today's video, we're going to do a wait time experiment at Disneyland Paris. We were here in September, we did an experiment seeing how many rides we could get on in a day. We did it on a Saturday, and to be honest, it was really busy in the day and busy at night as well. Sometimes you just have to admit defeat. It's been one of those days. We chose today to do a how many rides can we get on day? Well, interestingly, not many. So now we're here in November, we're going to try the same experiment but on a Sunday. So what we're expecting is, we're expecting to get on quite a few rides early on during the magic hours, and then it's going to be busy through the day. We won't get on as many, we'll probably come back to the room for the rest, to be honest. But we're expecting it to quieten down later in the evening, so we'll see how many rides we've got on. Right from now, well, not at 7 o'clock, but we're starting filming at 7 o'clock, get on the rides at 8:30, and we'll see how we go through the day. Now the thing about Disneyland Paris, the same as any Disneyland park anywhere around the world, is the key is to get up early, get there early, do things early. And the same goes when it comes to getting breakfast. So we're queuing outside Starbucks, which opens in 5 minutes. Get your breakfast, eat it early, and then if you're walking off to the park or you get in a bus, you can get there nice and early for when the gates open, because the main thing is you want to make the most use of that first hour in the park when the rides are relatively quiet, especially when it's extra magic hours and you can get on Big Thunder Mountain and all those rides that you might struggle to get on, or you might have to wait in a big queue later in the day. Extra magic hours at Disneyland Paris run from 8:30, so if you're a hotel guest and you've got your pass, you can get in at 8:30, which is an hour before the general public. So we're going to do an experiment today where we're seeing how many rides we can get on. We're expecting it to be busy early on. Gates will open at 8:30, and our plan as ever is to go on Big Thunder Mountain. But you've always got to have a backup plan, because sometimes you get in there and Big Thunder Mountain, there's a mechanical issue for whatever reason. You might want to jump over to the Phantom Manor or Buzz Lightyear or whatever. So let's see how it goes. Way to Big Thunder Mountain now. Hazel wanted a picture with you, so you've always got to be a bit flexible with your timings. Let's see what the queue is on Big Thunder Mountain. That's positive, the train's running, I can see. So hopefully it'll be open on time today. Now this is where you have to make your queuing decision. Sometimes there's a line like this and it means that there's a mechanical problem and the ride's not open. But generally when you see the train going round, it's a fair bet that it's going to be open in the first 5 or 10 minutes. So we've always got to make a decision. We're going to wait at least 5 or 10 minutes. Let's see. Up to the huge Big Thunder Mountain. The thing I like about this compared to the Florida version is that most of the ride takes place on an island in the middle of the lake. And so you have to go an underground tunnel on the train to get there. And certainly on the way back, it is so fast through the tunnel. You get a real, well, I say real centre speed, that's because it's very fast. At this time of day, the queue will keep moving. It won't be like this later on. So it was a 2-minute wait to get on the ride. The board outside said 5 minutes, but generally that means less than 5 minutes. It's generally a walk-off. So I don't know what the family planned, but we might just go straight back on that, because you're not going to get queuing conditions as good as that at any time for the rest of the day. So it's just before 8:55 now, after all the waiting, queuing and getting off the ride. The family have decided we're going to do it again. Definitely worth it at this time while it's very quiet. If you've got slightly older kids, Frontierland is a good place to start in Magic Hours because there are two very popular rides open, Big Thunder Mountain and Phantom Manor. Phantom Manor is not open in Magic Hours in the week, but it is at weekend. Two tips of Big Thunder Mountain. First of all, when you're in the queue, you get an option near the start to go in the left lane or the right lane. Go in the left lane. You might not think it makes a difference, but the busier the queue gets, the more of a difference it'll make, because sometimes if you go on the right lane, they're loading people from the other side on the platform. And secondly, it depends whether you want a rougher ride or a smoother ride. If you want a rougher ride, go near the back if you get the chance. It's very rough, you're sliding them out all over the place. But wherever you sit, it's one of the best rides at Disneyland Paris. The next ride we're going on is Disneyland Paris's spookier version of the classic Haunted Mansion ride. This one's called Phantom Manor. And what's really good about it is the story that Disney have created around the whole of Frontierland fits together. For example, the owner of the mansion is the same person who owns the Big Thunder Mountain mine, where the mine train runs around. So it's a little bit of a background that works really nice. If you have been on the Haunted Mansion in Walt Disney World in Florida, you will recognise a lot of the scenes in the Phantom Manor here, like the stretching room, for example. And a lot of the scenes are the same, but there's some different stuff at the end. When you come out towards the end of the ride, you come out into a spooky ghost version of the Wild West town that you see around you here. So again, the theming works well. They've integrated the whole of Frontierland together, and you'll definitely see elements of that on Phantom Manor.
Bonjour. You may not believe it, but beauty once lived in this house. Fantôme Manor a connu des jours heureux, mais les temps ont changé.
The wait time for the Phantom Manor was a mere 3 minutes. Again, good while we're in Magic Hours. And as one of the members of the family, that's the eldest daughter's favourite ride, we're going to go on it a second time. It's a nice feature of the Phantom Manor queuing area that you walk through fabulously unkempt gardens. But it makes you wonder, is it more work for the gardener to not keep it dead neat, but not have it too overgrown, just have it just right in keeping with a spooky ride? Either way, it looks good. It actually looks good in the autumn, winter, sometimes when there's a bit of a mist around. But if you end up queuing in this area, it's great because you can have a look at all the little features of the garden. The way the Phantom Manor works is you have to wait for a group of people to go in the first room. But once you get past there, it's an omni-mover, which means the ride cars move continuously. So you're talking about a 5-minute wait, which is great. And after the ride, you can go up Boot Hill, which is the cemetery. Let's have a look what's there. So here we have the graves of Henry and Martha Ravenswood. Now, Henry Ravenswood is the owner of the house and the owner of the Big Thunder Mountain mine, so it all fits into the backstory. And the bride in the Phantom Manor is actually Henry's daughter. It's 10 to 10 now, so we're well into normal park hours, but it's still reasonably quiet around here. So in that first hour, we've done two of the most popular rides in the park, Phantom Manor and Big Thunder Mountain, and we've done them twice, and in each case we waited less than 5 minutes. Now both of those rides will have queues of well over half an hour later. In fact, Big Thunder Mountain in the middle part of the afternoon and early evening may well be over 60 minutes. The other thing is, look at the crowd density here. Getting a bit busier, but you can still move about very freely, which means you can get from one ride to the other very easily. I know I keep hammering home this point, but honestly, if you've never been before, you might not quite understand how important it is to make use of the early hours. If you have been here before, then you'll know what we're saying. And what we'll do is we'll film the crowd later on here in the day, and you can see the difference. So next up is Casey Jr. As you can see, the wait time is 5 minutes, which probably means it's a walk-on. This is the circus train from the Dumbo film, and if your kids are a bit small to go on Big Thunder Mountain, then this is a good option because it's quite a fast train for little ones, but obviously not as wild as Big Thunder Mountain. So as you can see, it's quite a short ride, but I think it'll be a big hit with the kids. But what I like about it is you see lots of good scenery as you go around, you get a good view of this area of the park. So if the queue's not too long, it's definitely worth putting on your list. So just stopped for a mid-morning break to refuel. I don't say many negative things about Disney, but one thing I would say, it's not always reliable when the little snack place is open. For example, we're sitting next to the Mark chair now, not open. The old mill just over there, that's not open either. You would expect on a Sunday morning that some of these places will be open. So I've actually got a bit of chocolate and drinks from like basically the candy store there. So there should always be somewhere where you can get a snack or something to drink, but you may have to hunt round for it. Next up is Le Pays de Conte de Fées. As you can see, is a boat ride. It's good because it takes you around little storybook areas. It's got little Snow White model, Peter and the Wolf. Lots of different scenes from Disney. That might be the last walk-on ride of the day. It was a 5-minute wait, but I think we're now getting to the rides where we're going to have to wait a while. But what I would say is, if you've got young kids, don't forget to come to this area at the back of Fantasyland. You've got Casey Jr. Train ride, and obviously the boat ride there, Le Pays de Conte de Fées. Really good for small kids. If there's one ride at Disneyland Paris where the queue wait is out of proportion with the experience, it's Peter Pan's Flight. It's not a bad ride, and again, young kids would enjoy it, but the wait's currently at 30 minutes and it's going to be much bigger than that later on. And been on it loads of times. I don't think it's worth waiting half an hour longer if you've been on it before. If you really want to do Peter Pan's Flight, it's definitely worth doing it in magic hours early on. But we'll move on to the next ride. Now, there's one ride that is worth 30-minute queue time. I'd say it's Pirates of the Caribbean for two reasons. One, it's a really good ride and it's about 12 minutes. And secondly, the queuing area itself is very interesting. You go through a fort, down tunnels. There's always something to look at. And when the weather's a bit miserable like this, it's nice and warm in there. As you can see here, the theming in the queue area is great. All the chains and lanterns and wooden bins. It's taken 8 minutes to get from the outside queue area to this bit. But one of the satisfying things about this ride is it's a very fast loader. There's a lot of people get on a boat, and therefore you can see you get times when the queue just moves a long way. Now, the version of Pirates of the Caribbean at Disneyland Paris, I think, is better than the one at Walt Disney World in Florida. The reason for that is there's 3 distinct sections to the ride, including the start, which is absolutely spectacular. It's a lagoon area where there's a restaurant at the side. and your boat floats past it. That doesn't feature at all in the Florida version. Then you'll go through a section where there's the Pirates Battle and the Pirates Town, where you will recognise that if you've been on another version of it. And then there's a cave at the end with lots of spooky skulls and things at the end of the ride. And there's also 2 significant drops in this ride, so there's a bit of a thrill element to it. But the reason I like this ride the best, my favourite ride with Disneyland Paris, is that generally the theming is excellent. 13 minutes from the start, we're into the final bit of the queue, which is where the ride empties out into a beach area. It's a good optical illusion because, especially when it's brighter outside and you come down here, sometimes you can't see the roof and it actually feels like you're outside at night with all the palm trees and the subtly lit rocks. Really nice effect. So the ride was advertised as a 30-minute wait. Well, it's basically just over 17 minutes and we're just ready to get on the boat in the next minute. And that's generally the way it happens on Pirates. The waiting time is generally less than advertised, whereas with Peter Pan it can sometimes be longer than advertised. And like I say, you get a proper 11 and 12 minute ride off this. It's really good. Now it's time for a break for some lunch. Today we decided to come to the Cowboy Cookout, which is really good food. Now in terms of scheduling, make sure you get here before the place opens. It opens at 11:30, I think. It's just after 15:15 now. Worth queuing up for 10 or 15 minutes because they get really busy. And if you're one of the first 2 or 3 people through, then you can get your meal and get on with the rest of your day. If you saw one of our previous videos, you'll know that the Cowboy Cookout is one of our favourite places for eating in Disneyland Paris. They do a really good burger that's got an onion ring on it. We're going to have the sheriff's platter today, where you get a sausage, a rib and a chicken and some nice barbecue sauce, and you get a really big, which to be honest it's too big for one person, a big pecan pie for dessert. This is probably just about the most expensive quick service meal you can get at Disneyland Paris, but it's really good. The sheriff's platter, piece of chicken, sausage, some ribs and chips, and you get a nice pot of barbecue sauce and a pecan pie as well, and a drink obviously all thrown in. €17. I have to say I didn't appreciate it when we sat down here for lunch, but this is a great spot to see Goofy and Pluto when they come out of the mat. Pluto's still over there and Goofy's dancing about. So straight after lunch we walked over to Discoveryland and we've just done Mickey's PhilharMagic, which is a great film to do after lunch because you sat down for 10 or 15 minutes while the show's on. If you ever done the same show in Florida, it's very similar. The only difference is there's an extra scene from the film Coco, El Poco Loco, in there. So really worth seeing, very colourful 3D film, and I think the kids will enjoy it.